Tom, back left, first question.
Tom Withers, AP. Bron, you always talk about experience being the greatest teacher. What do you hope your team has learned during this crazy season that can carry you guys forward now?
I think just being persistent. You know, we've been very persistent and very resilient throughout this whole season, no matter what's been going on. So we have an opportunity to come home and protect home, as Golden State has done. So we look forward to the challenge. It's a very tall task, a very tough challenge, as I mentioned before the series even started, going against these guys, going against this team. But we have an opportunity to seize the opportunity. So look forward to that.
Mark, left side in the aisle.
Mark Spears, undefeated. LeBron, and then training camp, you talked about this in regards to the Warriors, but do you have any comment on Trump on inviting the Eagles to the White House after most of the black players decided not to go?
Well, I actually just found out about it when I was walking up to the podium. I ain't really digested it enough, but it's typical of him. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's typical of him, and I don't know. I mean, I know no matter who wins this series, no one wants to invite anyway, so it won't be Golden State or Cleveland going.
Any thoughts on the stand the black players made?
Well, I mean, listen, we have a lot of freedom in our country, and guys, men or female, have the right to do what they want to do, in a very respectful manner. And I think if they decided they don't want to go, then they have the right.
Tim, on the aisle on the left.
Bron, right behind Mark. To follow up on that, I mean, the Pats sent half their team, and then Steph came out and said that he didn't have any interest in going, and then you supported Steph on Twitter, I remember. And does it surprise you that the divide just seems to be growing right now, even after more than a year of this discourse, that it seems like that it's just the gap is widening instead of any bridge being found?
I mean, I think as long as he's in office, then the communication and things like that is going to continue to happen. It's a lot of things that we believe in as Americans that we don't feel, that he's for. It's a lot of people that believe that that he's not for the people, or doing things that's right by the people. So that's not surprising. Hearing the news today with the Eagles. But I think more importantly, we shouldn't, as Americans and people, especially people in Philadelphia, shouldn't let that news take away from what that unbelievable team did and accomplished. What all those players did to sacrifice throughout each and every Sunday, going on playing, the style of football that they played, and winning the Super Bowl the way they wanted. Let's not let that accomplishment, things that you will, have for the rest of your life. People will always call you a champion for the rest of your life. Let's not let someone uninviting you to their house take away from that moment, because I think the championship of winning a Super Bowl, or winning a Stanley Cup, or winning a World Series, or winning an NBA championship, or a national championship is way bigger than getting invited to the White House, especially with him in there, in my opinion.
Rachel up front.
Just one more layer on that. LeBron, the Minnesota Lynx won the WNBA title this year, and great series, great final game. They didn't even get an invite. You've always been really supportive of the WNBA and women's basketball. What did you think of that? And
I mean, I think it's laughable at this point. You always hear her saying, you just laugh and stop you from crying. And I think that's a lot of the instances that's going on as far as, outside of the sports world. But we know how important sports is to our country, and how it continues to, bring people together. excite people, make people talk about it, no matter if it's here on this stage here, but on the streets or on the bus, in the barbershops and coffee shops or wherever the case may be. We know sports is so big and because it's able to captivate people and bring people together. So, for, them not to even be invited, playing our beautiful game of basketball, no matter if it's the WNBA or the NBA or if it's little leagues or high school or whatever the case may be, it's basketball. It's our beautiful game, and those women, those girls, they're unbelievable at doing it. I think it's laughable, in my opinion.
Over here, Michael.
Michael Pina from Vice Sports. You're nearly shooting 50% from the mid-range in this postseason. How confident are you in that shot compared to earlier points in your career?
I'm confident in every part of my game, at this point in my career. It's not I don't believe there's any dare shots that you can dare me to take, and I'm not confident with making.
Jeff, there in the front.
Jeff Shedell, News Herald. LeBron, Ty told us he wants you guys to be more physical against the Warriors tomorrow and Friday. How difficult will that be to do that and just stay within your normal game?
Well, bringing a physicality to a game, I think, has always been a point of emphasis for our ball club. And, I think it started from game one of the Indiana series. They were more physical than us, and we realized that the playoffs had started. The guys that hadn't been a part of the postseason realized that the playoffs is here. And from that point on, physicality has been a point of emphasis. So I don't think that should change no matter who your opponent is.
In the back, Ann, on 4.
Ann Killian with the San Francisco Chronicle. Everyone talks about home court advantage, and you guys have clearly had it through these playoffs. Can you be specific about what it is that makes you play so well in this building?
Well, first of all, you give a lot of credit to the fans. Your fans bring you so much excitement as well. I always believe like the role players, play much better at home than they do on the road. They feed off the crowd. They feed off the familiarity with not only being home, but being on their home floor, having their own locker and things of that nature. I think that's definitely helped us out a lot throughout this postseason thus far, and pretty much in the postseason since I returned a few years ago.
Go Chris, Jeff, and Jermaine, last 3.
Chris Haynes, ESPN. LeBron, there's a clip that's gone viral of that game 1 in the timeout huddle after that, before going into overtime. It seemed like you were just finding out that you guys still had a timeout. What was going through your head at that time, and was it pretty self-explanatory?
Pretty much. It went viral.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn cameras. I haven't seen it. I'm not on social media right now, but
could you elaborate a little bit more? On
taking me back to game 1.
I'm sorry. It just.
I finally got game 1 out of my head. You taking me back, huh, Chris? Okay, hold on. Let me put myself back there. So if I remember, I think I was sitting on the bench and kind of just contemplating the last couple of seconds of what just happened, what expired, and from JR dribbling the ball out to G Hill missing the free throw, seeing Draymond step in early on the lane violation, asking myself, did I have a lane to actually drive it if I didn't? So there's a lot of things that playing through my head, and when the shot clock or game clock went off, before JR kind of threw the ball to G Hill to the corner, I actually tried to call timeout, and I believe it was Ed Malloy that was right there, our referee. I don't know if I had enough time because I was kind of, you know, a little bit still in shock of what was going on at that point in time. So I got to the bench. First thing that came to my mind, I was like, okay, I was calling timeout. But hopefully, I'm glad maybe if we didn't have any, I'm glad they didn't give it to me. I didn't want another C-Webb incident, you know. You know, that happened, and then they go to make their free throws and the game is over. So I asked our coaching staff if we had a timeout, and they told me yes. And I guess y'all probably seen the reaction from that point on.
So that was more so the reaction from not getting the timeout after you were signaling for it. Yeah, it was just knowing that we had an opportunity to have another possession, even with the offensive rebound. It was just a heartbreaking loss.
Chris over here, then Jermaine. Sorry, Jeff.
Jeff Zogett, USA Today. LeBron, you're down 2-0 to Golden State again. Does this 2-0 feel differently than the previous two seasons?
I mean, I have no idea, Jeff. I don't know how I felt last year or the year before that. I'm not quite sure. I know it feels like we're down 2-0, and I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way, you know, the mood that I'm in right now. Knowing whatever, I mean, there's no like, okay, you're down 2-0 and you feel better than you're down 2-0 before. I mean, it's just, you know, when you're down like this in a deficit like this versus a team like this, there's no good feeling. So, I mean, I don't feel good about it.
Jermaine, and the last question on the left.
With that moment between regulation and overtime, like Chris said, it has gone viral.
Give me 1 second. Sorry. I don't feel good how I feel right now. Not how I feel about the rest of the series. I know how clips can get broken up, and somebody can clip that and be like, oh, LeBron said he doesn't feel good about this. I personally don't feel good today of the deficit that we have, not about tomorrow. I feel great about our opportunity. Go ahead.
During those moments between regulation and overtime in Game 1, like Chris said, it has gone viral, meaning you have been getting criticized for not trying to pick up your teammates during that time. Is that fair criticism, not being in your shoes?
Me? Me being criticized? No. You said I got criticized for something, right? No, I don't believe that. Not me. I don't care. I don't care at all. I mean, we're in the NBA Finals. I mean, how much more picking up teammates you want me to do? We're in the NBA Finals to compete for a championship. All right, appreciate it.